my name's Nicole. Some people know me as Blood Lily, which is my gamer tag or whatever you want to call it. And a year ago on March 29th, 2025, I died. So do I have your attention yet? Good. Today I'm sitting here, it's one full year later. I'm ready to share what that really means and everything that's happened since. This video is mostly for me. It's a way for me to look back and at my journey over the last year. It's to process it all and to remember how far I've come. But if my story can help motivate even one person to keep fighting for their own physical and or mental health, then that makes it even more meaningful. Whether you're struggling right now, feeling stuck, or just need a reminder that rock bottom isn't the end, I hope something here resonates with you. Now, I've never made a YouTube video before, so bear with me if I look down a lot. I'm reading from a script because I have a lot to say and I really want to get this right to the best of my ability. I do have a tendency to go off script sometimes, so thanks in advance for your patience. If you want the full picture, I have put together a very simple website that lays out my whole story. It has links to all the programs that I'm going to talk about, any applications I use, YouTube channels, and products that I've used along the way, including my honest personal thoughts about them. And I put a link in the description so you can check it out at any time. So if you're ready to come with me as I walk you through the last 365 days, let's go back to March 29th, 2025. So the day started off well, from what I remember. I think I got some sleep. That is kind of hit or miss for me. And I was both looking forward to and dreading the day. We were going to go see we're going to my soon-to-be goddaughter's baby shower. What's the problem with that? I only knew my husband and her soon-to-be dad. No one else. Now, I barely function around people I know, so this should be fun. But I was determined to go, and I was determined to be happy about it. So, I talked. I drank a lot of sweet tea that does come into play later. And I survived, so yay. Afterwards, my husband brought me to Miniso because I wanted to get a gift for my sister. I had gotten myself this little stuffed animal a few days earlier, which I had dubbed Sushi Cat, kitty cat, and I want to get my sister one. So I found instead a Sushi Panda. My sister's nickname is Panda. Instead, and I went to the checkout line with my husband. So we're in the checkout line, and all of a sudden the lights started to vibrate, I guess. Would probably be the best word I can think of, in all honesty. And I started to get very lightheaded. I started to get very woozy. I grabbed my husband's arm. I let him know I was having a pretty bad panic attack. This is not my first rodeo. Nope. I was able to hang on to his arm as we went through checkout. It was not that long of a line. And I knew some breathing exercises to keep it from getting worse. We get to the checkout. We make our way out to the bench outside of the door. And we sit down. From here, I started my box breathing to calm myself down. Anybody that doesn't know what box breathing is, it is a breathing technique, especially when you get overwhelmed. It can be helpful. We'll explain why not in this situation, but basically what you're going to do is you're going to breathe in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And repeat the process. It helps reset things. It helps you calm down. Anyways, I start doing this. And I close my eyes. So next thing I know, I open my eyes, and the mall's gone. And there's some strange lady that had her face near mine. You confused? So was I. Anyways, then she spoke. Now, these probably weren't her exact words, but they're close enough. She basically said, "Hi, you're an ambulance. You're on your way to the hospital. Your husband's following your car. He'll meet you there." What? I've had panic attacks where I've ended up in the hospital before, because I couldn't breathe, but I've never like needed an ambulance ride. In all honesty, I kind of drove myself. Probably shouldn't have, but I did. And I've actually never lost time before, except for a few nights of binge drinking. But in any case, the panic attacks in the hospital, the loss of time, that was like 20 odd years ago because I was in my 20s. Yeah, one of those things. So it's been a while. But anyways, at this point now, I am freaking out. Yeah. So let's fill in some blanks, and let's go back to that box breathing I was doing and the closing of my eyes, because obviously I remember nothing at all. It was completely gone. But my poor husband was there for this entire thing, and he updated me on the situation later. And just to let you know, anybody that knows my husband, I like to call him a helicopter husband. Nothing wrong with that. He likes to make sure that I'm always okay. So I want you to picture him after he has to do all this of how, like, making sure I'm always okay. He is. So anyway, yeah. So I want you to imagine that he, after a normal bit, now he has to perform CPR on it. Yeah. Anyways, I closed my eyes, and then I started to seize up, and I started to shake. From what I understand, my husband freaked out, understandably, not knowing what to do. This never happened before. But fate put me on that bench because it's also in front of this Claire's. Now, this Claire's had an employee who, she had a history of seizures, or somebody in her family does, but in whatever the case, she knew what to do. So she runs out, she tells him to get me on the ground, how to position me so I don't basically choke on my own saliva, because apparently I'm also kind of foaming at the mouth at this moment in time. And he gets me on the ground, and he puts that brand new sushi panda underneath my head, and I drool on it. I get blood on it. We found out I bit my tongue hook for weeks. It was awesome. And so basically, so much for giving that to my sister. It's okay. We got her a brand new one. That one's now mine. Just an FYI. That's okay. Anyways, as this happened, I stopped breathing and my heart stopped. Now, between my husband and the Claire's employee helping, he performed CPR on me and he performed mouth to mouth. Gets my heart and my breath started back up again. And someone in this commotion, I don't remember who, called 911. The paramedics show up, and soon after they carted my happy self off to the ambulance. So what exactly happened? I had a seizure, I died, and I came back to life. But why did it happen? And no, I'm not epileptic. I'm sure that's how you say it. I'm sorry. But I am overweight. I have blood pressure issues. I have a massive anxiety issues. I am diabetic, and I was taking care of none of it. So between having nothing in check, having a very high anxiety day, drinking a lot of sweet tea, which I normally know better not to do, but apparently that day I didn't care. My blood pressure, my sugars were just through the roof. I don't remember what the numbers they told me were, but let's just say they were very, very, very bad. Like, way up there. It caused all this to happen. And I also learned that day that box breathing, though it does wonders if you're having a panic attack, just let you know it does absolutely nothing if you are having a seizure. Yeah. So hold on a second, I'm sorry. Okay. Anyway. Sorry, I cats. Anyway, back to what I was doing. So anyways, I was told basically if I get my blood pressure under control, cats, if I get my blood pressure under control and I get my sugars under control, and of course if I lose weight, this will probably not happen again. So some of you are currently saying, that's what happens when you're fat. And to them I say, I can't rebuke that. Some of you are feeling bad and or you're pitying me. To them I say don't, because this apparently was the start of the kick in the butt that I needed to finally start taking care of myself. So that's what happened. So we're going to get some background now before we go into this last year. Now why? It'll help explain why I hope this helps to motivate someone else. Here's the thing. Almost everyone, and y'all with the good genes that will never go through this, I am jealous, but almost everyone is going to run into an age where everything goes downhill. All those old injuries, welcome back. Those health problems that run in your family, you may soon be welcoming them into your life. Those of you who are healthy, no matter what you did, yeah, that's over. For some of those that could eat whatever you liked and always stayed in that perfect bikini body, not no more. Now minus the bikini body, because I've never had one. That age for me was the age of 35. So like I said, background. I've never been a small person, overweight most of my life, but at the same time I was also pretty fit in other ways when I was younger. All my life I've had to have blood tests of some sort because diabetes does run rampant in my family. Both sides of my family, actually. I had some distant relatives die of complications. But I've always had my numbers come back just absolutely great. Fine. The most I get is eat less, exercise more, lose weight. Hey, thanks for the advice, Doc. I didn't actually overeat much when I was younger, or overeat at all. And I was always doing something. I was walking, I was hiking, I was biking, I was hay baling. I come from a family of farmers. My arms, my legs were pretty much pure muscle back in high school. I've always had, and now I also always had anxiety, but I could hide it because I knew that basically I could back myself up with said muscle. It's very strong. If I needed to. So in high school, I did find out, and I don't remember, 175, 275, I could bench press a lot. Now, did I find that out because I actually bench pressed? No. I just basically got into a bet with my friends to see who could bench press the most. And that's how we found out, because it's the 90s and that's what we do. We do things just because we could. Does that make sense? Basically, I like to tell people I was one of those, hey, y'all, watch this, kids. And what that means is that I did a lot of stupid stuff. I got hurt a lot, but would generally just bounce back within like a few weeks at the most. I'm shaking things. And be fine. Yeah. And then by the time I was out of high school, I mean, I had done some, just to name a few, I'd done something to my wrist. It was from a bus accident. My hands shook a little bit. I did kill my back doing something else. I had a slight limp because I did something to my knee. And these are just, these are a few things that didn't fully go away, but wasn't enough to really, like, affect me and stuff. But this was just some of the stuff I'd done. So anyways, out of high school, I'm officially an adult. Yay. So now it's off to go do work. Well, actually, okay, that was nothing new for me. I had been working all throughout high school. But I did need work that had insurance because now I'm at the age where I no longer have my parents' insurance, so I have to go get my own. So I need a job with insurance, especially at this point, because now I started to have this really interesting, and I'm sorry, this would be gross, but I had this issue where all of a sudden, like after every single meal, I was throwing up. Just couldn't keep it down, like within an hour, and it wasn't on purpose. It just, like, I'd be driving lit like to pull over. And at the same time I was gaining weight. I never really got a full answer on the whole gaining weight portion, but whatever. But they did say, at least at the time, what they told me was I had acid reflux. I'd burned up my esophagus really bad from all that was happening. They put me on some medication, and I cut back on all those spicy and acidic foods that I always ate, and good to go. Yay. So, But at this point too, as I'm finding all this out and everything's starting to get better, I am also basically, every time that I'm ending up in the hospital or having to go to urgent care or the ER, it was always due to that job. Every panic attack, those first few panic attacks I'd ever had in my life were that bad. It was because I was so anxious at this job. I kept getting hurt at the job. It was just one of those things. And I had to eventually quit said job. I just couldn't do it anymore. So I lost my insurance. And I went on to a desk job. But now I have new injuries, which are now, I'm in my 20s, but not bouncing back like I used to. So I have some new injuries, and it's a lot harder to move at this point. So I didn't. Whatever. And was also, unfortunately, fought depression all my life. That was getting worse. I did eat a lot. I ate more. And I reached a maximum of 420 pounds. Yeah. And it got to the point where I was winded walking. And when I mean walking, I don't mean like, oh, let's just walk down the neighborhood. I mean like, my door is like 3 feet that way. I'd be winded at that point. And so, yeah, it was getting bad. Now, here's what's great about being in your 20s, however. I got sick of it. I learned from somewhere, heard from somewhere, I don't remember, this is like the early 2000s, that basically one of the best ways to start losing weight is to basically learn when you're satisfied and stop. So I'd eat, satisfied, stop. Started doing that, cut out the sugary sodas, stuff like that. I also went on to basically, I started to walk on a treadmill a few nights a week. Now, when you weigh 420 pounds, you're in your 20s, and you just do a little bit, then fairly quickly, you can lose 100 pounds, like that. Yeah. And that's exactly what happened. And I just kind of stayed at that loss of 100 pounds, about 320 pounds for a little while, because at this point, I could walk around again without really much problem, so... And I didn't really have any health problems at the time, so I just kind of was like, okay, cool, and left it at that. So, yeah, 20s, like I said. So let's jump to the age of 35. And at this point, I got something called walking pneumonia. Now, this is the first time I was sick long enough to be where I had to be out of work for more than 3 days. Very first time I ever had to get a doctor's note for going, oh, you've been out for more than 3 days, because, yeah, first time ever. And I ended up in the ER, and I found out now I have diabetes. That's caught up to me. Okay, well, I knew it was going to happen. So now I have to get myself a doctor again. And at this doctor, I learned how to prick my finger. Just to let you know, I have a massive phobia of needles. So this was fun. And I was put on some medication. And then I was put on more medication. And my glucose just kind of sat around 200, 250. Like, it didn't... That's just where it was. Like, occasionally I'd see lower, but it just stayed in that area. And basically, I was just kept being told, well, now you gotta change your eating habits, and you have to lose weight. I've heard that my entire life. Okay, so yeah, didn't do so well to losing weight. I didn't listen at that point. I'm gonna be honest with you, but I did get to the point where I did eat nothing but salads for a week. I'm gonna test this theory, and guess what? They didn't change. They just stayed where they were at those high, like those mid 200s. That's all. And when I say eat a salad, I don't mean a salad with a whole bunch of dressing. I like dressing, but not a whole lot. But yeah, either way, nothing changed. Okay. Now, for those of you who metformin works for, just FYI, I am very happy for you, because I do think that is the cheapest diabetic medication I've ever been on. But unfortunately for me, it's just basically a placebo. It does nothing. Nothing at all. And also at this time, because I hate doctors, which I do. This one was currently doing nothing for me. Okay, they were doing something for me. They were costing me a lot of money. So I stopped going, because why am I going to spend my hard-earned money on something that does nothing for me? So since then I moved. I got my first job with my current company, which has great insurance, by the way. I do love the insurance. Don't use it to its full effect, but I do have very good insurance. I am in a new area, and I'm going on to the second year of marriage with a man that I've known since a few months before Wrath of the Lich King came out. For those of you who don't know what that is, it is an expansion of a game called World of Warcraft. Yes, I'm a gamer. Yes, I met my husband playing World of Warcraft. Basically, ding, level up. So basically though, at this point, is 2020. What happened in 2020? That's right, COVID hit. Brand new stuff happening. Yay. And what happens? The thing that happens to a lot of married couples. I got pregnant. 2 months in, I had a miscarriage. And they told me, well, I'll let you guess. What'd they tell me? Oh yeah, that's right. Lose weight, get the diabetes under control. Fine. So I get a new doctor. I tried to talk to this new doctor, but put me on the same old meds. But I did add some insulin to this. Just so to let you know, somebody with a needle phobia, I got used to finally pricking my fingers. Now I have to inject myself. That was fun. Yeah. Now, the other thing I want to mention at this time too, because like I said, at the age of 35, everything well for me, 35, everything caught up to me. This included my old injuries. So this means that those injuries I mentioned before, plus all the other injuries I've done to myself, they've caught up to me. I am in constant chronic pain. Like, it hurts. Everything hurts. Yeah. And so the medication they're putting me on for the diabetes is doing absolutely nothing. I'm trying to talk to the doctor about this pain because the pain is becoming more important than the diabetes to me. Like, I'd rather lose a foot than be in this pain anymore. Just do something. I don't know. I need help, you know. And we'll get to the pain later. Let's get this diabetes under control. Nothing's working. You're not trying anything new. All you're doing is upping the medication. How are we going to do this said thing that you're talking about? The best part about this, remember I told you I don't like doctors. I have high anxiety, so it means I have a hard time talking to doctors. And guess who can't be with me because this is the time of COVID? So no visitors during your visits. So my husband, who's my advocate for me, the reason I have him there with me is, one, so he can actually talk to them, because I am just a blabbering idiot, to be perfectly honest. I can't function. And two, to also remember what they say to me, because, yeah, literally I'll go out, he's like, okay, what'd they say? I don't know, can we go home? Like, there's a reason I need him there with me. I don't do well with doctors, I really don't. But anyway, I can't have him there with me. So what this means is that throughout all these visits, I am terrified, I am pissed off, and I don't know what to do. Alright, keep trying though. So it's come to the point now where the COVID shots have come out. And I took the first one, I'm fine. Nothing. Then the boosters came out. Now you have to remember the time. I am fat. I am diabetic. That walking pneumonia has damaged my lungs, so I have breathing issues, especially when I'm in high heat. So basically, what they're telling me is I'm at high risk of dying if I get this thing. And fear tactics worked. So I went and got the COVID shot. Yay. So I get the booster. Within 24 hours, I am in the worst pain I'd ever been in. I'm in so much pain. And I found out that I was pregnant. Yeah. The miscarriage was so bad and so painful that I had to get a DNC. Now, if you don't know what that is, go look it up. I don't think I'll ever be in the right headspace to explain that one. But, yeah. Basically, my life sucked. At the same time, too, I'm also having this massive pain here in my arm where I can barely lay on it or anything. And this is the arm I got the shot in. Yeah. My life sucked. I got to my doctor, and I told her about the arm pain and everything. And she just basically says, and mind you, when I told her I'd had pain for months, and all she said to me was that everything that happened, no way it was the COVID shot. She did mention nothing else to try to help me with that pain. Now, this pain is so bad that I could barely use my arm. Absolutely nothing. But just say, hey, couldn't have been a shot. And then she proceeded to berate me because I haven't been testing my glucose enough. I must not be taking my meds because my numbers are still not going down. And then she basically threatened to fire me if I didn't do my part. So again, why am I spending my money on this? So I stopped going because I ain't dealing with this. Nope. And by the way, that pain in my arm, it did take about another 6 months for it to finally go away. And mind you, at this point too, I was also seeing a therapist, and when I stopped seeing the doctor, because I explained to her, they're not listening to me. Nothing's happening. Nothing. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm done. I couldn't handle it anymore, and she couldn't really disagree with my decision. By the way, shout out to Doctor on Demand, and I'll talk about that later. About that. And afterwards, I tried seeing some other doctors in this area, and basically the same results every time. So I gave up. Now, the only good thing at some point is that at some point during all of this mess, I started to see my therapist. Remember, this time I have, COVID's going on. Not that being inside bothered me at all, because I like that. I don't touch grass much. But still, you gotta be fearful of people around you. You can't have people in there with your doctor's visits. You get asked every time, oh, have you recently lost your sense of smell and your sense of taste? Quick one, they did not appreciate my joke. At the age of 7, I broke my nose. I cannot smell very well, which means I cannot really taste very well. So they didn't really appreciate, oh, have you recently lost your sense of smell and your sense of taste? And I went, how recently is recent? And they didn't find that funny. I did. I like my dark sense of humor. But anyway. So, anyways, I started seeing all this is happening. The other stuff we talked about. The job I had at the time was so stressful. I am literally losing hair. Like, I can't even describe what my hair. I mean, I used to have such thick hair, and it's getting better now. But at that point in time, it was like so thin. It was like I was surprised I didn't start seeing bald patches. But I started seeing my therapist. Because I was basically on my way to the loony bin, or I was on my way to killing myself, because I was just so depressed. I was so just so much had happened. I was done. Now, just to let you know, I do still see her, but we'll talk more on that later. Much better now, by the way, but she's awesome. Anyways, let's go on to 2023. Something good happens. Finally. A job opened up in my company. And what's best about this is a job I kind of wanted since day one. Like, somebody had told us about it, and I was like, oh, I want that job, but I didn't know what it was called. And popped up. Anyways, I applied for it. I got it. I'm still there. I love my job. It was well worth the stress. Basically, that old job was so well worth the stress because that's how I got to this job. And yeah, I love this job. I really do. Like, I was like, for the first time, I don't remember how old I was. It was in my 40s. But for the first time, I'm basically going, I can actually have a career. Hey! Instead of just these little things. But yeah. So yeah, that stress level went way down, which was beautiful. I still have health problems, though. They didn't go away. So we're going to go into 2024. Every year. 2024 happens, and all of a sudden my right foot and my legs start to be in a lot of pain. Like, as I started to lower it, it kind of like you're feeling blood rushes to something. Like, it becomes so painful. Like, literally, I began out of bed and just slowly. And what do? I ignored it. Why? Because it'll get better on its own, right? Yeah, I come from a time of walk it off, and I'm also very stubborn. It'll go on its own. Most things do. I'll be fine. It's in it. So next thing I know, I'm in the hospital. I am taking my first ever ambulance ride in my life because apparently they had to go transfer me to another hospital. And they had to do surgery on my foot because I had an infection in my foot. It was fun. I got to see overhead lights become yellow yarn and squiggle around. Yay for those knockout drugs wearing off. And my first words when they showed me where they cut on my foot was, yay, you didn't cut my tattoo. Because I have priorities. So anyways, I have a tiny scar to add to every other scar that I have on my body. Whatever. Cool. Done over with. Yeah. Hopefully I've learned from that mistake, and next time anyway, we'll talk about that later. Same as we're all caught up. So why the background? Now, the background is basically explained that one, just because you're healthy now doesn't mean that will continue. And two, to show that basically I'm very good at giving up. I really am. To be honest, I didn't care, and I wanted to be done with it all, if you get what that means, unfortunately. So, let's go talk about that weight. Now, this whole big is beautiful thing, be comfortable in your own skin, etc. Now, if you feel this way, I am happy for you. I'm not lying. However, I'm going to be honest. I never felt beautiful. I've never been comfortable with anybody talk my weight, whether it be positive or negative. It just makes me uncomfortable. It's just uncomfortable. It always has. Going on a plane sucked. It is very embarrassing to basically go, oh, hey, can I get a seatbelt extender? I didn't spill out into the other seat, but it was close quarters. I'm not lying. I felt like everyone was staring at me all the time, and not in a good way. I was embarrassed to go out to eat because I felt like everybody was staring at me, and I could eat like I normally did. Like, basically I would eat till it, because I still kept that eat till you satisfied. Like, I learned that, I kept that, and I do that, and I'd box up the rest for tomorrow. It's good for food tomorrow. And I'd feel like everybody be staring at me like, oh, she's boxing it up so that we don't think that she's not fat because she's overeating. Yeah, but she's really going to eat that as soon as she gets home. Or I'd order a salad. Believe it or not, I do like salads. But I'd order a salad and I feel like everybody's staring at me. Oh, she just wants people to think that she's happy and healthy when she's obviously not. I'd go to a job interview. And I'd feel like I'd walk in, they'd see me, and their automatic thought in their head was, no. Let's get through this, but no, that's not happening. Welcome to the way that my mind spirals. Now, did any of this push me to do anything about it? From time to time, a little bit, but no. I'm gonna be honest. But I did get to the point where I felt useless. I felt like a waste of space. And that everyone in my life would be better off without me. I wanted it to go away and end. I wanted to go to sleep. I wanted to never wake up. Why would I care about my health? At 42 years old, I finally got my wish and I died. My husband brought me back. I woke up to a stranger staring me in the face, and which I'm sure helped that high blood pressure problem. I spent a week in the hospital having to listen to these doctors telling me all the things that I needed to do and looking at me like I'm an idiot because I don't have a primary care doctor. And I am falling farther and farther into depression because my death didn't take. Especially as I realize more and more that the doctors in my area don't care about anything but how they can get my money. I went home with the name of a doctor I hadn't tried yet. And the hospital that kept me for a week refusing to give me a doctor's note. They said, get it for your primary care. By the way, I do know that is BS because that week in the hospital I spent about the foot, they gave it to me. This one, I don't know, maybe they're just pushing me because they're like, oh, she needs a primary care. Whatever. So I just felt like my life was over. I'm not dead, which means I have to go to work. Because I need to work so that way my husband, my cats, and me can not be out on the streets. That'd be great. So I ended up making this doctor's appointment literally to get a doctor's note. So we're not on the path that we're about to talk about yet, but that's literally the whole reason I made this doctor's appointment. So, made my appointment. I went to my appointment. I spent my copay. They took my vitals. They put me in a room with my husband, and we met my new doctor. And I said, can you speak with my husband? Because honestly, yeah, I am too anxious. I'm not with it. I'm not going to remember anything. I'm not going to be able to tell you what I need. I don't know what's going on. And my new doctor said, yeah, of course. Mm-hmm. No one pulled me aside and asked me if I was safe at home. Now, I do understand why they asked that. Don't get me wrong. However, it always feels like they would, whenever I would say that's exactly what would happen. And it almost felt like they were like expecting me to say no. I'm like, why wouldn't I? I don't understand. Like, y'all, if you ever met my husband, he is the most wonderful, honestly, man I have ever met. He is my everything. He is my, what do they say? He is my someone, basically. So yeah, I hate being asked that question because it makes me feel awkward, and it makes me feel like they're looking at him a certain. I just don't like it. I understand it. I don't like it. But anyways, no one questioned my decision. No one. No one gave us weird looks. My new doctor literally just sat there and listened. And he asked questions. And he decided with me and my husband what medications we wanted to try. Like I told him, metformin's just a placebo, which every other doctor went, well, that's what we're going to start with. We just didn't have high enough. Let's just keep upping it. And he went, you know what? Then let's not do that. Okay. He asked if I wanted to look at my chronic pain now or later. Oh yeah, here's your doctor's note. Just to let you know, I did decide later because at this point I was just kind of freaked out. Just to let you know, other than a few things, we actually haven't looked into it because of some of the things I had tried. We're going to talk about something called Hinge Health. Have actually helped me without actually having to go to the doctor with this pain. It is awesome. Anyways, go off track. Yeah, it's been a pretty wild year. Anyway, so I went and I took my new medications that I had never been on before, and I saw my numbers go under 200. I went into my next appointment 2 weeks later, because at this point I am seeing him fairly frequently because a lot of stuff just happened. So I go in, and now when I say under 200, they're still like 190. Still pretty high. And I show my doctor all my things, and I was like, I was like, should I lie? No. I showed him where my numbers were, expecting him to yell at me. And he didn't. He didn't yell at me. He didn't say, oh, you're not taking your medication. You're not following what I told you. He didn't say anything like that, like every single other doctor had. He sat there, he looked at the numbers, and he went, you know what? Where they are right now, I'm very happy with those. We're going to adjust the medications. They do need to go lower. But compared to what they were before, I like these. What? Okay. Yay. I also told him about this new pain that it started, that I started to realize when I got home from everything. And it was in my hands and my arms. Basically it was pain. It felt like it's in the bone, kind of. So it was kind of like these two bones here. It was pain on both arms going all the way down into this one, like splinter out of my hands. And now I type for a living, so this is a bit of a problem. And I mean, it's bad. Like, I'm calling out of work like twice a week, it seemed like. And it'll been 2 weeks. So I'm telling him about this pain. And he said, well, you know what? I'm going to give you some medication to help with that pain. And explained it to me. It's nothing like massive, just, because I don't want to be on like codeine or something. I need to be able to think. One of my jobs, I think a lot. I don't like anything that messes with my brain. He's like, that's cool. So we're going to try that. Now I am pretty sure that, he goes, honestly, he goes, I've seen this a lot, especially when your sugars were so high, that things like this happen, and as they start to go down, the pain does eventually go away. He goes, I think it's that, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's not, what is that? For some reason I can never think of what it's called, but it's the thing where you see people wear like the hand things. He goes, I'm pretty sure it's not that. But you know what? He goes, I'm going to put you on these meds because we do need to let you work. And I'm going to send you to the specialist, and we're going to get some x-rays done. And the specialist, we got the x-rays done on my arm. The specialist saw that it did what's called a nerve study, which was very interesting. Just to let you know what it does is, the first thing they do is they have these little things that kind of zap you a little bit, which was fun, like watching my fingers twitch and stuff like that. And then the next step is like these little needles. That one wasn't so fun. But either way, they do this thing, they look at the nerves, stuff like that. And basically in the end, we found out the actual name was like ulnar nerve something. It's like a nerve that goes along here. The basic thing is I have tennis elbow in both arms. Huh. That's let you know, with tennis elbow, I have to wear these fun little, I don't have them on right now, but these fun little things, and you put them on where the nerve is, and it stays on. Yeah, I wear these basically all day, especially when I'm working. They are helping. It's been a lot better, but still kind of there. But we're getting there. But, so we start to take care of it, and do whatever I need to do. And at this point in time, because now I have a doctor that listens to me, I've had all this stuff happen, and I'm starting to realize, you know what? I want to live. And I want to be healthy. Let's do this. Alright. So before we finish, to get to where I am as of today, now just let you know where I am as of today. You might look at me and go, I don't know. Looks like she needs to lose weight. Yes, I do. Okay. The reason of this video is because it has been a year. I've made it a year. I'm still going. I'm still working on it. We're getting there. Like I said, it's been a year. It's been a year and I haven't given up. That's the point. It's been a year and I haven't given up. I'll talk more about that. But anyways, now I do want to pause at this point, and I do want to say to everyone out there that you matter. And I'm not just saying this, basically. And the second thing is, I do want to let you know, it's hard. It's a lot of work. But I do hope that you can find your motivation to work on yourself without having to have a major life event like I did. It was scary, and I don't want to do it again. And I hope you never get to experience that, even once. And I know that you can find that motivation without that happening. Anyway, let's delve into what happened to me it might help you on your journey if you decide to start it. So again, a reminder, link in the description to that extremely simple website. It'll have, again, links to the applications, YouTube's, Amazon things I found useful, etc., etc. So if that all sounds good, so basically if I'm talking about something and you're like, oh, that sounds good, and you don't remember the name, it is in that website. You'll be able to find it. All there. Alright, so let's get on to the good part, this last year. And I do want y'all to remember at the very start of this journey, again, I'm in very bad health. I barely could walk. I could barely move at all when I started this. Like, yeah, I don't know how to explain it. I literally had, I had a cane before that because it was the pain in I had a pain, well, I still have the mass pain in my leg, and I couldn't walk long distances. I can do that now. And I was using this cane more and more just to get from room A to room B in my own house. Like, this is how bad my walking and my moving was when I started. So, just to put that in your head. Life was fun. Anyway, let's go on to step one. Step one, and I'm not lying, I know a lot of y'all probably heard this from other people, but your step one is literally to find your why. Do you want to know what mine was? I would love to say it was my loved ones, but if that was the case, I obviously would have done this a long time ago. Sorry, guys. So mine was, literally when I started, mine was to not wake up in an ambulance with some stranger staring me in the face again. That was literally it. Now, a few months later, my loved ones were added into my why, because you can completely change your why, you can add to it. Just have a why. Have a why. And the biggest thing about the why is you have to be very honest with yourself about it. Now, the reason why a few months later I could add in my loved ones is because at some point during this little journey of mine, I did realize that, yes, I need to work on my physical health, but I also need to work on my mental health as well. I need to be okay with me before, that kind of, anyway. So the next thing I do is I moved on to finding programs to help me. And I'm going to be honest, my job is awesome. And they offer a lot of programs, and I use them all. I do. So for the following programs, just to let you know, you should check with your insurance company and see what they cover, or your job, or something like that. The programs I talk about, I only know really, again, what my insurance covers. I don't know if, like, certain insurance covers something, but you have to copay. I don't know if you don't have insurance that you can get it, but you pay a certain amount. I don't know about any of that. I just can only tell you what mine does. So when I talk about this, I want to tell you about what I have, and you will have to do that work, unfortunately, if you want to do that, to see what your insurance covers, etc. And the other thing I'm going to tell you is I'm going to tell you about some of the stuff they sent me. Now, things could have changed. It's been a year. So things could have changed, like they could be sending different things, or they could like not be sending them at all anymore, or something like that. So don't go, oh, I'm going to do this because I expect this. I'm pretty sure they are, but I can't, I don't work for those companies, so I can't speak on them. So just kind of an FYI, I'm going to tell you what I got. And I'm going to hope they still do that. And if you do that, you'll get it too. But just a pre-warning. Okay, one second. Okay, sorry about that. Alright, so the first program I'm going to talk to you about is something called Hello Heart. This one's going to be for your blood pressure. Now, what they did send me is a blood pressure cuff. And what's best about this blood pressure cuff is I take my blood pressure on a little machine, I have my app open, it Bluetooths to my app, it keeps track of it. There's some newish features, at least newish to me, that gives me weekly goals, like drink X amount of water for 2 times this week. And I like goals because that means I can make it into a game. So goals are good. Let's see here. Again, Hello Heart. And This is a blood pressure cuff. You plug it into here. I would show you the app, but I'm making this on my phone, so much for that. But yeah, as a doctor, as you put it on your arm, do the thing. That's Hello Heart. Next app I'm going to talk about is called Omada. Now, I do know they have different programs depending on like what your insurance covers. And just let you know that same statement is probably the same for the other apps. Like they might actually have other things that they do. Just depends on anyway. You know what I'm saying. So if you qualify for a program, though, you do get a coach, and you can talk to them or you don't. Your choice. I do suggest you do. I do believe that they have a blood pressure program. My insurance does not cover that, so I don't know really anything about it. My insurance goes to Hello Heart. That's what I got. But the things that I do know they have is, yeah. Well, I do know they have because the ones, and you also have to qualify for them too. Like you can't just say, oh, I want to be on this program. The first one, of course, which I think as long as your insurance covers it, it's like a weight loss general health one. Is the first one I qualified for. And the second one I qualified for, because this is the one they asked more of the questions about, was the diabetes program. So what they did is they sent me a scale to track my weight. I love this scale. It does the whole Bluetooth thing. I step on it, Bluetooth sticks it in the little thing on the phone, and so I don't have to like immediately go write down or think I forgot or something like that. But yeah, they sent me a scale to track my weight. They sent me a glucose meter. They sent me some strips and some lancets to go with said glucose meter. And the best part about them, like I said, not only is it the scale that automatically goes into your app, but also whenever I test for the glucose, that also from the meter they sent goes automatically into the app, which is great. And here's what, so if you do qualify for the diabetes program, here's the best part, at least for my insurance, is that, well, it does automatically test like how many times you tested, like it knows that. It also says, oh, well, okay, we've sent you, I'm going to make up some numbers. I don't actually know the numbers they send me because I don't pay that much attention. Let's say, oh, we sent you 90 strips, and 90 strips means they send you 90 lancets. And you've tested, let's say 70 times. I'm not sure how far out or whatever they go. Okay, let's send you some more. My insurance fully covers it. That saves me money. It's good. I send it. Hey. Yeah. It's awesome. And then on this thing also, every week you read articles depending on what you pick to focus on. Now basically what it is they give you some things to focus on. It's usually like a 3-week thing, and every week you do a new one, and then after that you pick a new one. And every week you read these articles. Every week you pick a goal to do, to try to keep track of. It's pretty awesome, actually. And just let you know, the articles also go into like what your part of your programs are. So I get articles for weight, I get articles for diabetes, for exercise, all that good stuff. It's pretty awesome. I like Omada. Yep. And also within the app you can also track your meals, but it's without the calories. So like you just track the meals you made, what times. You can track your water. It's pretty awesome. Just to show you, now not the outside part. This is something I bought a long time ago. But basically just to show you how these things look. Scales in the other room, but this is the meter they send me. It's the thing I lance with. Simple, great. Got big numbers because I'm blind, so that's pretty cool. That's something like that. Alright. What's the next one we talk about? Next one we're going to talk about is a program called Wonder, and that's WONDR, no E. And this is also a weight loss program, and in this one you watch videos every week. They also sent me in the very beginning a measuring, it's like a measuring tape so you can track your measurements, of course. They also sent me another scale. It's more of a simple scale. This one didn't Bluetooth, so I'm going to let you guess which one I actually use, but it's still a scale. It works. And then for what mine was is like, so okay, you're gonna watch, if you watch your first 2 week of videos by this date, they sent me this water bottle. I like the water bottle, it's pretty cool. And then a little bit later you watch this, I got like this digital food A digital recipe book. Yeah. The video is pretty cool. You learn not just you learn different things, like learn what hunger scale you're on. Is it 1, 2, 3, or 4? 3 is where you want to eat at. 2 means you're kind of snacky. Well, 1 means you're really not hungry. 2 means you're kind of snacky, but you're okay. 3 means, this is part of the time you're going to eat. And then when you reach 4, it means basically as they put, you're hangry. You don't want to reach that. You will eat too much probably. So anyways, you learn about hunger scale, you learn about that whole thing I talked about before, stop when you're satisfied. They do give you like, oh, let's try these different exercises. They give you some mental health things. It's just all around like these different things because, like I said, losing weight doesn't just mean exercising. You have to get enough sleep. You have to, especially as you get older. Like I said, my 20s, I just went for a walk a few times a week and whatever, I'm fine. My 40s, yeah. When I was 25, I lost 100 pounds in honestly, just a few months. I am now 43. I have lost about 45 pounds, very happy with it. But it's taken me all year. It's going slow but steady, and I'm okay with that. But it is a lot harder the older you get. It's just the way it works, unfortunately. So let's go for the next one. The next one was something I already talked about kind of earlier. It is something I was using before all this. But it was also something I kind of learned of different things in there afterwards. Anyway, it was Doctor on Demand. DR on Demand. On here, I can see an urgent care doctor. And just as only these doctors, I see them through video calls. Best part about it, my insurance, if it is a virtual visit, I pay no copay. That is mine. Again, check your insurance, but yeah, I love it. So anyways, I can see urgent care through a video call, as long as it's not serious, like I don't have a broken bone or something like that. Like basically, let's say I didn't realize about this when the thing with my foot happened, but basically more than likely, if I had done that when my foot started to hurt, especially after a few days, they probably would have prescribed me like I don't know what they're called, Z-Pack or something, but one of them kind of pack things, and probably wouldn't have gotten to the point that it got to. FYI. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, you can see an urgent care doctor. Like I said, just make sure it's not something that you really, I couldn't really see them when my foot got to the point that I actually had to go to the ER. That's not going to happen, but I can see them. I could have probably seen them at the beginning of the week. That kind of thing. Yeah. So anyways, went over that. I do believe, depending on your insurance, again, this one's not mine, so I am not completely positive, but I do think that you might be able to get a primary care doctor if you wanted to, if your insurance covers it. I'm not sure. I think I heard something there. Anyway, you can see a psychologist. A psychologist is the person that does not give out medications. This is actually the one that I see. I prefer a psychologist. I prefer the less medication I have to take, the better. And I prefer, for my mental issues, to talk it out rather than have to be on medication for it. I have been on medication for it before. It was not fun. It sucked. That's a whole different story for a different day. I see a psychologist. I suggest everybody else at least at first, see a psychologist first. Talk to them first. Give them time to talk to you. See what they can do. If you can do it without medication, all the more better. If not, you can see a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist is one that can prescribe medications. And like I said, if your insurance is like mine, I have no copay on virtual visits, which is awesome, and it saves me money. I like saving money. So, if I get sick to the point where I need to be out for more than 3 days and I need a doctor's note and I have to admit that I actually need medication at this point, Doctor on Demand. I don't go anywhere. A few minutes, pops up. I talk to them for a few minutes. They send whatever medication off to my local pharmacy, and they send me a doctor's note. Simple, easy, painless. It's great. So yeah, I use this app for that. I use it to see my psychologist once a month, and my psychologist has gone through this whole fun journey with me. And yeah, no, I highly, highly, highly recommend this app. Anyway, the last one we're going to talk about for this point, the point that we're at, is, you mentioned before, Hinge Health. Hinge Health, it's a physical therapy app. And what it does is, it is more like Again, you do get a coach. You can talk to if you want to or not. I highly suggest you do. But it's one that you can pick out different exercises if you want. Now, along the way, I found one that I like to do every day. It's like a desk stretch exercises, a bunch of different ones. It's the same ones, but I work at a desk, so it helps with that. And I also have one because I have the problem with my arms. It's like these wrist exercises that I do. Those ones are kind of static. I just go find them and put them on. They have things like that. But the other thing that they do is basically what happens is you pick like 3 areas that you want to work on right now. So when I started out, I was like, okay, my wrist, my elbow, my shoulder. I have ongoing shoulder problems that may require surgery later. That's another thing. And of course, all the stuff is happening on my arms. So I start with that. And what it does is you follow, again, these little videos. They're usually about 10 minutes in complete total as you go. And you do these little exercises, and as you do these videos, and even the other ones, you get points. You get points, you level up, and as you level up, once you level up, you get to level 2, they switch up your exercises a little bit. It's just an automatic little thing. Let's see here. So yeah, you do that little playlist. Like I said, it evolves as you level up, basically. But yeah, that's what I started with, this hinge health, this physical therapy thing. Best, for being able to move as much as I can today, I have to give full credit to hinge health. Yeah. Now, just let you know, those 3 areas I talked about, that doesn't mean you're set on them. You can change them up later or stuff like that. Like, I eventually talked to my coach at some point, which we'll talk more about later. We changed them up. Like I said, they're usually about 10 minutes, but they can become more. So again, I talked to my coach because I'm still having a lot of problems with my arms. She added to it, so now mine are usually about 20 to 25 minutes, and that's fine. It ain't nothing. Anyway, off track on that one. Hinge Health, absolutely love it. Now here's the other thing too, and again, depends on what your insurance covers, and I learned about this like 6 months in. They do have a little device that you can get, and it's called ENSO, ENSO. It is what's called a TENS device. Basically what it is you stick it on the place where it hurts. You let it buzz around for a little while. It's this thing that works on your muscles and stuff like that. I'm just going to say buzz around and put it in simple, but it does so much more than that. And you feel better. And life is better without pain. Yeah, so if you can get that little device, or you can just get a TENS device if you actually have kind of pain. You'd want to talk to your doctor first, of course, to make sure it's something I want. But anyway, yeah, I love them. So anyways, I did my exercises, all that stuff. So like I said, first I could barely move. And that definitely helped. The other thing I started to do, and I don't remember which program told me to do this, probably all of them, was to drink more water. Hydrate. That sucks. I hate water. I like my Dr. Pepper Zero. Yes, Zero, because believe me and sugar, it's not fun. But anyways, like my Dr. Pepper Zero, move fine. I will hydrate. So, and by the way, shout out to my mom, who sent me my first Stanley. My only, well, I have 2 she sent me, but my only ones, but still. And I use them all the time. But the reason I want to say that is because now that I drink more water, I need to find ways to actually get myself to drink more water. And basically, the biggest thing for that too is like not just let's go grab a glass from the cabinet and fill it up with. One thing I do suggest if you want to drink more water is you want to find something that suits you. This can be, and you want to get a few of them too. Like just because my mood changes on the day. Like get water bottles with straws. Get them without straws. Get them with spouts. Get them with screw. I have cats. Screw on tops. Get them from things you like. Get your favorite animal. I have a lot of ones that have cats on them. I have some, as you see, my favorite show on them. From my favorite place. I have a bunch of Buc-ee's ones. Yes. I somehow have managed to collect a lot of water bottles, and now I drink a lot of water. Speaking of which, one second. But yeah, water bottle. Get one that suits you. You will probably drink more out of it because I feel good to have my little happy cup with me, honestly. And I also have different ones for whenever I go out walking, because this is not yeah. So I have different ones for walking, I have different ones for the desk and stuff like that. It just makes me feel good about it, so I drink out of it. I like my water bottles. Got a big collection of water bottles. Anyways, so yeah, do that. Next thing you want to do is, of course, you want to start moving, as we talked about. And you do want to start, just don't go like, oh, I need to do an hour. No, start out small. And one of my apps, like, basically, I think I had like 50 minutes a week that I had to do. 5 days, 10 minutes. Yeah. That's what it started out with. Mine is, of course, much higher now, but anyway. Um, so you want to start out small. I started out with, I would do my little daily hinge, which is about 10 minutes. And then I would start to add on to that. And when I add on to it, I literally started doing chores. I go, okay, I'm going to fold laundry. I'm going to go do the dishes. As I progressed, I could move more. Like, it came to, just to let you know, this room was like a disaster because, of course, neither one of us can move. So a bunch of my rooms became a disaster, especially this room, this workroom mine. I was like, okay, I'm going to rearrange it. I rearranged the furniture. I moved stuff. I cleaned it up. I put some in boxes. I put, like, little by little by little, adding more and more and more time every day. Just get moving. That's all I did. That's how I started. I try to do about 10 to 30 minutes. Like, okay, I hit 30 minutes. I was getting tired. Okay, do more tomorrow. But yeah, just start moving. One thing I also did is I kept a notepad with me and I wrote down everything. I still write down almost everything, but basically I wrote down everything. What time I woke, because sleep is important, just to let you know, and I do bad on sleep still, but anyway. I wrote down what time I woke up, what time I tried to go to bed. I wrote down that I took my meds. Wrote down what exercise I did, how long they took. I wrote down what I ate. I wrote down everything. And I had a book for everything. I had a book for a calendar, because of course I have to keep track of my meds, my doctor's appointments. I had that. I had the thing I wrote everything down. I had one I wrote down all my exercises and what time I did them and how long they took. And yeah, I had and just to let you know, when I started, I had something what's called an all or nothing mindset. Now, this isn't the greatest mindset to be in. I was in it for a while, but basically what it means is I did every single exercise, especially after I got a repetitive down, I did every single exercise every single day. There is a reason they say, oh, today's leg day, days that you do want to break them up. I am getting to that point myself. I finally broken them up. I'm about to break them up even more to try and do that a little bit. But when I started out, and the other important thing is you do want to have rest days. I did not have those when I first started, especially, again, when I started getting to routine. I do now. Today is one of them. But you do. It's actually very important. You gotta let your body have like a day or two of rest and here and there. So yeah, that's an all enough. But anyways, gung ho. So yeah, I wrote down a lot. I had a lot of notebooks too, like 5 or 6 that I would carry with me everywhere. Like, we go somewhere, it would come in the car. I wouldn't bring them into the store with me. I wasn't that bad, but they would be in the car with me because I had to write down something. I need this notebook because we're going to go out to eat every once in a while, and so this won't come with me. I write it down. I'd be writing it down. I'd bring them from this room to that room, from that room to this room, and wherever I went, it was by the couch with me. I always had the stack of notebooks and a pen. Anyway, the next thing I needed to work on was mental health. Yeah, so I did see my therapist, but I also, at this point now, I started to keep a journal every night, which is simple. Write down what I did during the day. I also had a gratitude journal. Anyways, I had a gratitude journal, which I kept and I wrote in. And basically what it is, I write down what I'm grateful for. I write down a negative thought. I write down a positive thought. This is my negative thought. Let's do a positive thought. You need to change your mindset. I also had 2 packs of cards. They are what's called they're like these little anxiety card thingies. But basically, I would pick out one a day and I would write it down. So I have to write it down. Just to show you real quick, this is how I keep them now. 'Cause it's just easier for me. Basically, literally, this little card. There's a front and back. Now these have cute little cats because I am a crazy cat lady and I like my little cats just fine. What matches you? I've seen doggy ones. Amazon has everything. look up anxiety, whatever your favorite thing is, a card, I'll find something, probably. Anyways, so I'd get those and I'd write them down. Because I needed to write down for me to remember what was on them and for it to actually like make sense to me. Of course, like I said, I kept that calendar. This is when I have to watch the new videos for the week. This is when I have to get my medication refilled. This is the day of my doctor's appointment. Blah, 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 blah. It's a calendar. So no lie, basically, like I said, I had a pen, 5, 6 different notebooks, whatever, carrying around me at all times. I don't know, wait. Anyway, so 2 months in, and I'm starting to feel better. I'm starting to be able to move more. Like, I can go on simple walks again, here and there. I'm no longer like, that anymore. I'm just, so anyways. Now I'm adding 2 more programs. And these are the last 2 we're going to talk about. The first one is something called Learn to Live. Now, like I said, you need to work on that mental health. What Learn to Live is, and it seems very simple, and I'll be honest, when I went in it, I was like, I don't know. I don't see this one being a thing. It is, by the way. But what it is it is a mental health program, and it has various programs throughout it, and you pick what program you want to start with, and that program can take anywhere from like a few weeks to a few months. Believe me. But I started out with the social anxiety program. And again, on this one, just like every other one, you can get a coach. You don't have to. I suggest you do. They are very helpful. I love my coach. She is awesome. And I speak their mind every week through text. We literally just text each other. I think you can call if they want to. I prefer text because, again, whatever. Anyways, I started out in social anxiety. You have these videos you watch, you do the homework, can't talk to your coach. Just let your coach, it's not just there to talk to, it's also like I think I'm having problems with it, and they're more likely, I found out without my coach, like I was more likely to go on to the next lesson after a week, and then with my coach, she's like, well, you know what, I don't think we're quite there, let's stay, and it'd be better to stay on that lesson if you're not quite there yet. But yeah, I've been on the same lesson for the one I'm on for a while now, there's a reason. But anyway. But basically, the social anxiety, I graduated it within a few months. Now, when I say graduate, I know I did. Now, does that mean I don't have social anxiety? Everybody has a little bit. I still have a lot. But here's the thing. Instead of like, I can't, where before I couldn't ask for help. So like literally like a store associate would come up, hey, do you need help? No. I would wander around the store for a while to go find the thing I needed, which I probably could have found whether or not I was even there in a few seconds. I was like, yeah, I couldn't do that. Calling my own family was a thing. People calling me answering I couldn't do any of that, really. Like, literally there was one person that could call me, or I could call without a problem. That was my husband. Everyone else, whether or not I knew them, whether or not they were family, whether or not they were loved ones, I couldn't do it. At the end of this program, I can ask for help. I can go return items at a store. I can make phone calls. It's still there, but I can function. It doesn't take over my life anymore. So it's awesome. Like I said, after a few months did that, now I've moved on to panic attacks, or panic is actually what it's called, because again we talked about those panic attacks. That one is taking a while. It is a hard one, but I can see it working. Like, even if it's taking a while, I can see it working, so it's been great. So anyways, now the last app I'll talk about, or program I'll talk about, and it's, well, technically it's like 2, but it's in one, because after your first week you get access to the other one. But it's called Real Appeal. It's underneath the I guess the umbrella of Rally. And this is also a weight loss app. The Real Appeal Rally. And you get a coach, and what you do is it's a 1-year program, and you go into a weekly meeting every week. Now these weekly meetings are pretty good because you can see your coach, you listen to your coach, you can hear your coach. They and the people in your weekly meeting, they can't see or hear you unless they turn on the mic for some reason, which they would let you know, of course. But yeah, it's just you kind of, your coach talks and you text with the people in your group, basically in this little group chat. And that's it. So you do that a week, and then after I think 6 months, you didn't move on to, you're going to meet once a month. And then do your program. I don't know how the graduation works, but whatever. That's what you do. Now in between it too, you do have options to do these like more like in-depth ones. Like I think they had like one for aging or something like that, and they're usually like 2 weeks long. And these little meetings are only like half an hour. You can do a one-on-one. Now the one-on-ones, your coach can't hear and see you. You can hear and see your coach, or you're actually like talking to each other. But you can schedule one-on-ones with your coach if you need more like questions or want to talk to them more, like more one-on-one where you're not having the whole group. That's cool. And like I said, within the first week, you have access to another one that's called Fitness on Demand, also known as FOD. And this one basically just go through, you can find videos for like different fitness things and stuff like that. Like I'm currently on this like playlist for Pilates. Pilates is not fun, I don't care what you say, but I am doing it, and it's okay. But yeah, you can go through and get videos for like, different things to do and stuff like that, especially if you're like me. I don't like to go to the gym, I don't like to be around other people. I have recently started going outside to do my walks now. I walk around my buildings, but I like to do a majority of my stuff in my own home. So it's pretty good for that. Anyway, that's Fitness on Demand. Like I say, you get free access to that. So of course now I'm feeling a lot better. And I can move more. So now I've decided now I want to walk more. Like this is my goal. I want to be able to walk. So we're going back to the Hinge Health. And I talked to her. I said, because, yeah, I can now walk more, but I have to take frequent breaks. I have to use my cane. My legs are so weak. And so she's like, all right. Well, she goes, let's switch it out. So we kept the shoulder. Again, this is something that's ongoing. So we're going to keep the shoulder. And then we switched it to the hip and the leg. And we switched up my exercise a little bit to do those, to get those stronger. And then I asked her, I'm like, well, do you have, and then I talked to my Almada coach, I'm like, do you have anything that I could do that I don't have to go really like outside, that I could use to do like more exercising? She goes, yeah. And she sent me some links, and one of them was to this called YMCA at Home, these chair exercises. As I started out doing chair exercises, just to let you know they are not easy. But the chair exercises, mostly moving more arms and stuff like that. And she sent me a link to something called Walk From Home. It's a YouTube site. Just to let you know, the site does have like a bunch of different instructors. My favorite is Leslie Sansone. I started out watching her 15-minute happy walk. Literally just 15 minutes. And she actually made it a happy walk. Like I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. And so I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm at home and I'm doing these things from YouTube and I'm following YouTube. All right. Got me moving. It was hard, but I did it every day. And it got easier and easier. Let me talk about the social anxiety. Oh, I do want to let you know too, I know we talked about, because I was kind of got off on a tangent, because I do, talked about Mata, the rally one, the oh my goodness gracious. The one that's underneath rally, that I'm losing my mind as to what it's actually called. Yeah, whatever's underneath rally. Why can't I not learn this? Anyway, they did send me I got sent another scale. I got a lot of scales. Got another scale. Did we talk about that? Yeah. Got another scale. I got this little like food scale thing, so I can like weigh out 2 ounces of meat, stuff like that. I got this portion plate. If you learn about the portions. I can't remember if there's anything else, of course, booklets and stuff like that. The Hinge Health. Now, the Hinge Health, if it's still doing this, and I'm pretty sure it is. Now, this one's kind of the same thing, like you did you do your first exercise and you do 10 of them or something like that. I got sent a yoga mat, which I do still have. I love it, except for the fact that my cat seems to think it's her own personal scratching post. Brat. But I got sent a yoga mat. I got sent some resistance bands. I still use those too, which is pretty cool. And it helps you along your journey because you're going to start using them in your exercises. Anyway. So let's go on to August. We're getting there. So like I said, I'm walking and I want to count my steps. Like I want to do this thing where I count your steps. So I got a Fitbit. And I set my goal for my steps per day. I did start out at 500. For me, it was a lot at that time. 500 was very hard for me to get at that time. I gradually upped it as I went. I also, because you also got like Fitbit Premium for the first 6 months. I don't have it anymore. It's okay. But at the time, with the Fitbit Premium, I got like these access to videos, which I use for like meditation, some breathing exercises, stuff like that. This little watch, basically, it buzzes occasionally because it felt something or whatever it tracks. It's like, how you feeling right now? And you're like, oh, I'm feeling calm, I'm feeling worried, I'm feeling, and it tracks it. It buzzes every once in a while to go, hey, you need to do 250 steps this hour. Reminder. Okay, cool. But it basically got me more motivated, and I can fully say I love my Fitbit. But basically, you do want to get what's good for you. There's a bunch of different, of course, the Apple Watch, some other stuff. But you want to get what's good for you. And also, a side note, and it's something I've read, and I'm not sure how true it is. Google does own Fitbit, and I do believe they're starting to phase them out because they do want to make Google Watches. So that is a possibility of something happening. So just pre-warning. I do love my Fitbit, but yeah. Anyways. So next I'm going to talk about those multiple notebooks that I carried around me all the time. Great for weights, but yeah. So if you're like me, again, I track everything. Again, I don't track as much as I used to, but I still track a lot. If you're not like me, you really should be tracking things anyway. Especially like your food or something like that, because it does, you do want to kind of keep track of what you're doing here and there. I mean, not to go all in, but still. But anyways, so I'm carrying all these books. I am not a person that, the unfortunate thing is writing. I have to write things down, like typing. Like, I know you can put things in your phone and stuff like that. It doesn't do anything with my brain. I can go on a computer and do this Word document. That doesn't really do anything for me either. I have to, if you notice, write everything. And if I write stuff, it's more likely to stay in my brain. So my mom got me what is called a Kindle Scribe. Now, I know if a lot of people have had Kindles. It is a lot like a regular Kindle. It was Kindle. So, of course, you can get books on it and stuff like that. What the Kindle Scribe, though, is it's kind of a more stripped down version. And it's not, I can't really read things on like a screen for like a long period of time. Like, yeah, I work on a computer screen all day, but I can't like read a long article on a computer screen. I can't do it because my eyes start to cross. So with Kindle Scribe, it doesn't have like, there's no color. It just has like this muted matte kind of screen, so I can actually read what's on there, which is pretty good. So it has that. But this thing's awesome. I love this is my all-time favorite thing. And basically all those notebooks that I had, I condensed into this little thing. This little thing is also what I'm reading my script off of. And it's great. And I got my gratitude journal in there. I have a calendar in there. I literally, like I said, you saw the screen. That's how little it is. I have a little case on it. This little pen. You know, the only thing about pen is you do have to replace what's called a nib every once in a while. They cost basically nothing. And if you get I think there's different ones, but mine, you just have that. I have something else to keep it all in because I know magnets sit down on this. But anyway, it's awesome. I love this thing. So I got that, condensed everything. Now, September, our group got like a little bonus, which was pretty cool. And so I decided, okay. And I went and got some workout clothes. I'll be honest, I was exercising in my pajamas because I work from home. So I'm in my pajamas all day. So, but I was like, I'm going to get me some workout clothes, which is good because it actually motivated me after a few months to go outside. But anyways, I got some workout clothes. I got some I got some weights. Now I have some actual handbells that I have in there. You do want to do some weight exercises with different things. I love my handbells. Um, but with these things, I added new exercises. So instead of just the walking and the aerobics that basically the walk from home does, I also started to add like more like the weights, like the overhead and stuff like that to help out. It helps out with these arms too. Um, and I started to learn something called rest days, which I kind of talked about a little bit earlier, which is very important. That all or nothing mentality, I'm starting to bring that down. So now, like I said, I was doing every single exercise every single day. Um, and I mean, so just to let you know, this is one reason why I also use a lot of apps, is that I have a tendency, so my brain does this thing. So let's just take my medications, for example, because it's the same for everything. I'm taking my medications, taking my medications. I forget one day, because that's what happens. You forget things. And then my brain goes, we don't have to do this no more. Can't you get yourself back on track? Oh yeah, I tried. And then I just keep forgetting and forget until I just forget altogether. That's just the way it works. So one of the reasons I was doing so many of these programs and stuff, so I was like, well, if I'm doing all this and I'm writing down all this, if I forget one thing, I should get back on track because I'm on track with everything else. And I do it every day, every day. This is my all or nothing mindset. It's just the way it works in my brain. So I did start out around October to break it up. Like, okay, well, I'm going to do those hour walks like every other day, and I'm going to do the weight things like every other day, and I'm going to have like a rest day. I can do this. And I could do it. I actually started doing that. So, like I said, now it's about October, and at this point I'm doing about an hour walk from home videos instead of just those 15 minutes, which were awesome. But like I said, I preferred one instructor, and things I found out, the instructor, I guess, retired in 2020, so that means no more new videos, which means they are starting to get a little repetitive and they're starting to get a little boring. So I'm poking around on YouTube one day and I found this channel for Ingrid Kick, and she does have a lot of videos. She's constantly coming out with them. She has various times, like there's half-hour ones, there's hour ones, depending on what day. Like some days you might want to do just half hour because I did all this other stuff, or blah blah blah. It's great. What I love about it is she has in like the corner, she has this little percentage bar. I love that percentage bar because it's actually very like I said, for anything that motivates you, like it'll get to, like I get to 85% and I'm just like, oh, I'm tired. I'm so tired. I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. Here's the thing, I look over, I'm 85% on in. If I could do 85%, I could do another 15% before I die. It's okay. Yeah, I do the rest of it. In the end, she does these little stretchies. And just basically, and then the other thing is too, she kind of breaks it up too in different sections. Now the ones, like I said, there's a lot of different ones. I'm just going to tell you the ones I usually use. Usually has 6 different sections, and the only thing that stays static through those sections is this walk that you do every other one. So like, you'll do the walk and then an exercise, go back to the walk and then an exercise, and then you'll end the session. It's like a little break time, and the new session's like the walk might be faster, a little bit different, or something like that. Like, da 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 da. And what she does for every single exercise is just 10 seconds of the like you're kind of figuring out what she's doing, kind of thing. So 10 seconds, and she's got a little counter, and then 30 seconds. So you're going to do that exercise for 30 seconds, and then you go on to the next 10 seconds. And she just keeps doing this, and so it keeps my brain, at least keeps my brain intact. The only thing is she doesn't actually talk to you, just says a little thing, which is fine for me. Some people don't like that, but check her out, I would say. But anyways, started doing that, and I'm starting to do the hour ones with her and getting the things. So November comes along. My mom comes and visits me. I haven't seen her since before COVID. Very excited. And she brought with her this little like a strength book thing. I kind of forgot what it's called. It is in the website. Well, I found some things. And it's these things to help out with like your strength, like different parts. And it's different days, you do different things, and the whole point of it is like, if you can't finish it that day, you can always finish. Anyway, I'm still on day 1, I'm going to be honest with you, but I also want to be able to do it all before I move on to like 20 reps. I want to do 20 reps 4 times. I'm at 20 reps 2 times finally, because like my arms are this whole part of me is very weak. But I'm getting there because it does take time to build up that muscle and stuff like that. So I am now at 20. Well, I started out like 5 reps one time, and then I bring that up, and I'm up to 20 reps 2 times. So I'm getting close for myself to day 2. It is slow going for me, but I'm excited. Like, I'm excited to go on to day 2 whenever that happens. But I like this little it's like it's a little weight book, which is pretty good. I was like, okay, cool. And then I went on Amazon and I found this. It's like these cuffs that you put around your ankles, and it has a little different. It comes with like 3 different resistance bands that you stick between, and you do these legs exercises. So now I have exercises into my arms and my legs. I'm adding more exercises to what I'm doing. December comes around. It's now Christmas time. My mom sends me this thing called a vibration plate. Um, Basically, what happens is you stand on it and it vibrates for like 10 minutes. And so for everything I'm reading, it's supposed to have a lot of health benefits with lipid something or other. Basically, it kind of, when it's shaking, it's supposed to help like break up certain things or whatever. It's supposed to have a lot of health benefits, and the website, I have links to it. I'm not a doctor, but it's supposed to have a lot of health benefits. It's supposed to be very good for you to do. I'll be honest for you. I love this thing because after I've worked out, I usually work out between 2 to 3 hours a day. I do every weekday. Weekends are my rest time. I do that, and then I go on this little vibration plate, and it makes my legs feel good, and I love it. So this thing is just, even if it's just for that, I love this thing. So that thing's great. And then the latest thing I've added in, and I haven't used it yet, and there's a reason. Well, one of them I haven't. There's a few things. Is I got a Pilates kit, because I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I kept seeing it, and they look like fun, and I wanted to play with them. And the only reason I haven't used them yet is because I'm still doing the beginner's Pilates, because I've never done Pilates in my life, and I am bound and determined to use those new little toys I got, so I keep going with the Pilates. It's okay. It hurts. It's okay. If y'all that enjoy it, cool. But I'm doing it. And then I got this push-up board, and it comes with other stuff too, which I haven't quite added into my routines yet. I'm going to, but right now, it's this board. It unfolds. It's a simple little thing, and it has little handles. You can put in different places, I guess, depending on what muscles you want to do. And the main reason I got it is because now some of the exercises I do are like, I'm very bad at push-ups, very very bad. Something else you do is you do push-ups, and I have very very bad wrists. So I was reading that this is supposed to be a little bit easier when you hold on to these little hard things on the ground to do those push-ups, and I'm doing better and better and better. And I'm eventually going to add in it came with a bunch of other stuff, which I can't describe right now because I haven't used them, but I will, so maybe a different video. But yeah, I got a little push-up board. I still suck at push-ups, but I'm getting better. Yeah. So, that was a lot. Okay. Here's the breakdown. Find your why. Find your support system. Find a good doctor. I do want to let you know, do not be afraid to go in, see your doctor, go, no, not you, and go and look at another doctor. It's okay. Any doctor. Just find one that's good for you. Find a doctor. If you need one, find a therapist. Like I said, I suggest find a psychologist first. Again, shop around, find the one that's good for you. But if you need to, find a therapist, psychiatrist, whatever. Find what's best for you. Be that applications, YouTube videos, whatever's best for you. You don't have to go to a gym, okay? As you keep going, you don't have to get all at once. Get things little by little to help you. They don't have to be expensive things. That little push-up board with a bunch of stuff cost me like $20. My weights, I think my weights were a little more like in the $30 or something like that, and they're cool because you can actually add on weights on the side. But I just got them little by little. And have, as I do things, we get the things that will help you. You get it to keep you motivated. Get it because it's going to help you. Get it because you think that I can do this if I have this. Okay, cool. Do what you can to get those things if you can. Just get them little by little. But yeah, get the things. You want to make sure you do take breaks. You do want to make sure that you give yourself credit. That includes rewards. Now, rewards do not have to be, you went and bought yourself something. Don't get me wrong, I like going shopping. but shopping costs money. I don't have a lot of money. That's okay. But, so, do other things. For the ones that I'm not, like my hinge health, I have to watch videos. So the ones I'm not watching videos on, like, doing the book or something like that, like, okay, well, this is when I get to listen to my podcasts. I listen to, there's one that does crimes that I like to listen to. There's another one, Mr. Ball, and Strange, Dark, and Mysterious. I love to listen to. I only listen to them whenever I do certain things. I go out for my outside walks. That's when I listen to Mr. Ball, and I probably shouldn't do that because I walk it late at night, and anyway, it gets me scared every once in a while. But, that's my reward. My reward is I get to listen to that when I go outside. My reward is I only get to use that vibration plate that makes my legs feel good after I have to exercise that day. And then I get to use that. That's my reward. Reward yourself. It doesn't have to cost you money. Find something to reward yourself with. As of today, like I said, I've lost, I think, around 45 pounds. I now usually do about 7,500 steps a day. Remember, I started at 500. I usually exceed those steps, by the way. When I do my walks, I usually do about an hour, if not more, among other things. One of my major things that I've celebrated recently is that I just had to go shopping to go buy smaller jeans. Cool. I also went and, okay, so I've shopped in Hot Topic since the 90s. I was one of them kids, still am. And so I was shopping, and you know how Hot Topic is, like finding sizes and stuff sometimes. Like 3X was near impossible, 2X, you could usually find it, but not always. I was looking, and I found the shirt that I wanted so bad, and I love Hot Topic, but I hate getting shipping from Hot Topic. So I was like, oh, they don't have 2X, but they had a 1X. Well, I'm losing weight, so I'm eventually going to fit into it, right? Because I started out this whole journey, I was a 3X, and 3X was kind of tight. So I was like, I'll get this. I'm like, you know what, I can't go try it on, because I just want to see kind of like how far I got to go. Well, here's the thing, a little tight in some areas, but I fit into a 1X. I celebrated. Oh my god. Yeah. Alright. It was great. I loved it. It was like the best feeling in the world. Because sometimes, just let you know, sometimes in this journey, with the weight loss, it's not always about, this is the amount of weight I lost. Sometimes it's other things. This is, my face looks thinner. I can fit into smaller clothes. That's why you also do your measurements. Like, okay, did I go? All these things. So it's not just the weight loss. It's so much other stuff. Yeah. So just seeing changes. It's great. Anyway, sorry this video ended up being so long. But again, it's been a very wild year. Anyways, so I hope I could have motivated someone that they can see that it's possible to be happy and healthy. Even if it's slow going and you're just starting. It's possible. You can do it. You just have to do it. Okay? And hey, like I said before, I'm not done yet. Maybe I'll do some follow-up videos after this. Like, I'm hopefully shorter. Maybe I'll do a follow-up, or maybe I'll do some things like, oh, these are the different things, like, so you can actually see them. I don't know. I haven't decided on it yet. That's a possibility. But yeah, that's it for now for all that. And again, visit the website below. That's linked below. And all the different programs and stuff I talked about are all in there. My story, all that good stuff. Different things I've used. And no matter what, just remember, you can do it. But it takes you to do it. Okay? So, yeah, I know I said we're done, but I do want to say a few things before we end off. So these are some very, very important things to me. Okay? First of all, if you're watching this right now, and suicidal thoughts are loud right now, if the weight feels crushing and you can't see a way out, I get it. I've been exactly there. I know how convincing that voice can be, telling you the world is better off without you, that you don't matter. But hear me, you do matter immensely. Not because of what you do or achieve, but simply because you exist. Your story, your feelings, your presence in this world, they ripple in ways that you'll never fully see. I almost didn't make it here to tell you this, but I'm so glad I did. The days got brighter, the pain eased, connections returned, and purpose showed up again. It can for you too. You're not broken beyond repair. You're just hurting, and that's real. But you're also resilient in ways you may not feel yet. Reach out, text 988, call someone, tell one person. You're not alone in this, and you are worth every bit of help and hope coming your way. The second thing I want to talk about real quick is I've learned a lot about fighting through the hardest days, both physically and mentally. And I know many of our veterans, including so many of my own family, have walked similar paths. My dad's a Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine. My grandfather, Command Master Chief of the Navy, and countless loved ones have served with incredible courage and sacrifice. Growing up in that world, I've seen firsthand the strength it takes to serve, to come home, and to keep pushing forward. To every veteran watching, past and present, including every single one in my family who have shaped who I am today, I want to thank you from the deepest part of my heart for your service, for your sacrifices, and for still being here fighting whatever comes next. Hoorah! To the Marine Corps and my dad, always faithful, semper fi to the warriors out there. You matter, your stories matter, and if the fight ever feels too heavy, know there's hope, help, and people who love you, rooting for you to keep on going. We're in this together. Because of what you've given, I get to be here sharing my story. And that's it. So, yeah. So again, I hope this helps motivate you. I hope this helps you. Everything you need is going to be, well, everything, if you want to talk to me or something like that, like links to X and stuff like that are all going to be in that website. I don't really know how to fully explain it. I'm new to this thing. But yeah, reach out. I'm here too. Okay? Have a good one, guys.